I wish that I could fly into the sky so very high, just like a dragonfly. I fly above the trees, over the seas, in all degrees, to anywhere I please.
Good evening, everybody, and here we go again. I got to get a better tagline. Yeah.
What's wrong with Ed Whalen?
Oh, I don't know.
Taglines are all good.
Another edition of Drone Night in Calgary.
That's right.
Something like that. Or I could do, something like Good Morning Vietnam, but nah, that's been done. Come on, Doug. What's your tagline?
I'm still waiting for it.
Oh, Christmas is coming. You'd be patient.
Yeah.
Anyway, good evening, everybody, and we're hopefully going to be doing a little bit of good conversation here tonight, a little bit of learning and stuff. Two items we're going to be covering tonight, as well as maybe an announcement or two. We're going to talk about the recent updates to the Mavic Air 2, and hopefully we'll cover something that's not already out in the hundreds of videos that have been released already. And something that's not normally covered by anybody is, okay, so I've crashed. Now what do I do? And hopefully we're going to put you on the right road for that. Oh. Sorry. my pacemaker just let me know my battery's low, so hang on a sec.
You've fallen and you can't get up.
So anyway, we're gonna you guys have both got have you got the Air too, Doug?
No, just the Air.
Okay. But Lottie sort of has one.
Not in my possession, but I own one. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, a lot of people are heralding this as probably one of the best all-around drones that DJI has come out with, and I tend to agree with them. And it is well-rounded, and to be honest with you, it's just amazing how much more they keep adding to it, and that's rather impressive. They start off with a good drone and they just keep making it better, which is quite typical for DJI, I found. And I think there's some more good things coming in the very near future, like is in about 3 weeks. So without letting the kitty out of the bag, just hold on and you'll see. Comments?
I'll wait and see.
Okay.
No problem.
They're building off a great platform.
Yeah.
So
anyway, yeah. And I even made a whole bunch of notes for tonight. Unusual because I'm doing it off the top of my head normally. But let's talk about the back-to-back updates that were received. At first, there was the Fly app. We went up to version 1.16. Which affected both the Mini as well as Mavic Air 2. The one common thing for both of them was the fact that they changed the battery level indicator. It was a common complaint, and myself included, that battery indicator kind of got lost in the sky. Because if you had any kind of a grayish sky at all, you couldn't see it. So they've come up with a new indicator, and that indicator is pretty slick in that it changes color depending on your battery level. And as well as when you tap on that, you get more detailed information. And it'll give you 3 different flight times. And one is going to be how long till it's going to start a return to home. The second one is going to be how long till it's going to do a forced landing. And the third is how long till the battery is depleted. So In other words, it's pretty much at zero. It doesn't actually go to zero, but it shuts itself down at that level to save from destroying itself. Second one, which was a really big thing, is you now have gimbal control, that you can actually control your gimbal speed and smoothness on both the Mini and the Mavic Air 2. But with the Air 2, you get added bonus in that you can have a different setting for each different mode you're in, whether it's in sport or in cinema or just regular P mode. And also on the Air 2 only, not on the Mini, but you can also control your yaw rate so that you're not spinning this fast. Unfortunately, they didn't include that in the Mini, but hey, it is what it is. And but those were definitely, especially the gimbal control, that was definitely a much welcome improvement. Have you flown your Mini lately, Doug?
Last Sunday.
Or Lonnie?
Yep.
Lonnie?
Yep.
With the improvement? Or
Not with the improvement, tomorrow.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Noticeable difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So, that being said, firmware. It went to version 1.00.0340. There we go. Spit that out. Lots of new stuff with that. The improved gimbal performance, and we're not talking about the stuff from the app, but the gimbal performance, that they refer to it as gimbal performance, but that's kind of a misnomer, because if you were in sport mode and you give it full throttle forward, the camera would kind of dip down because the aircraft went like this. What they did was they didn't actually change the gimbal performance. What they did is they slowed down the acceleration curve a little bit so that it didn't go up to full speed as fast. So when you took off, instead of going like this, it not as steep, and then it gave the camera a chance to compensate before it went out of range. So it still accelerates pretty quickly, but it just gave that gimbal time to catch up before it would dip down. Obstacle avoidance has changed. You've got several different options there. Personally, I'm not impressed with some of it. Some of it's a good idea, but one of it where you can actually disable your sideways flight, and you can actually, I find you can do it by accident, and it kind of caught me unawares. And all of a sudden, if you're using mode 2 on your controller, your right joystick, left and right, don't do nothing if that's engaged. So if you ever come across that, just go into your settings, make sure that is turned off. With that new obstacle avoidance, above your takeoff button on the left side of your screen, there's now a little circle there, and it will kind of indicate your obstacle avoidance mode, I guess, for lack of a better term. You guys taking notes? There's going to be a test later. Yeah. And probably the biggest one that's got everybody excited, and myself included, although I'm not as excited as I thought I was going to be, because of a few things that were not included that I was hoping would be, was the fact that they have now given the Mavic Air 2 a zoom function. And depending on which shooting mode you're in, if you go to your video settings, you now have a 4K wide, and then you have a 4K zoom. And if you're in your 4K zoom mode in your video settings, you'll see right next to your record button, you'll see a 1x or 2x, and you can tap that to go from 1x or 2x. The other thing is that there's 3 different ways you can use your zoom. So you can just tap that and instantly go to 1x or 2x. Or what you can do is put your finger on that 1x or 2x and slide your finger, and it will zoom that way. Now, one of the final one, which is my favorite one, is with your controller, use your function button, and while you're holding down your function button, you use your scroll wheel, and you can zoom that way. That one is my favorite because this way you're not scrubbing your finger across the screen or tapping. You've got your hands on the controller. So I kind of love that one.
That makes sense.
Now, in the 4K mode, you only get 2x zoom. In 2.7K mode, again, you're limited to 2x. If you go to 1080p mode, you've got right up to 4x, and that's at all frame rates. I should mention that on the 4K, you're limited to 30 frames a second, and 2.7K is 60 frames per second for the 2x. Now, what I don't like is the fact that they didn't include the zoom feature for pictures. It's strictly for video. So that's kind of unfortunate, because if you wanted to get in close and then zoom in even closer for a picture, no can do. How they've done this zoom feature is that it uses the quad bear sensor, which gives it the 8K capability, but they kind of turn that on and then use that whole image sensor in order to try and give you the zoom capabilities. So far, honestly, it works quite well, although at 1080, when you go to the full 4x, you do lose some resolution. Like, the quality does go downhill. The other feature with that is, before you had the 1080p or the 8K hyperlapse, they've now added a 4K hyperlapse. So, any questions, thoughts, ideas?
No questions. Yeah, it would have been nice to have it on the photos as well.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm going to do a little bit of a demonstration here. I had a second camera set up for this so that I could do 2 screens, but I'm not going to be able to do it. But it's another little trick. Just bear with me a second. And yeah. So So what I want to do is, hopefully you can see my gimbal here. And a lot of people aren't aware that you have this feature here, that you can actually move your gimbal around up and down in every direction that you want, simply by holding your finger on the screen. Wait a few seconds, and then move your finger around the screen. So you can actually, if your drone is hovering, you could move the camera around without moving your drone. Just a little tidbit I thought I'd share with people in case they weren't aware of that. So, and enough with that. So I'm going to leave it to one of you guys, if you want to tell us about little thing that we're going to start doing probably the next show.
That would be me.
Okay. If you insist.
Yeah. What we thought we'd do is we're always trying to get more interaction from everybody in the group. So what we thought we'd try out is, if you guys want to submit a 60-second video or less, and we'll just do kind of a drone video of the week. And we'll just talk about a little bit, maybe location and what we see in the video. And yeah, just try something different. Throw some stuff out there. What do you think?
Sure.
Sounds like a great idea.
Sounds like a really good idea. And as you know, we've kind of discussed that. And so bring your creative skills. If somebody wants to submit something, just maybe put some kind of a tag on there that, hey, watch this, and we'll present it on the show.
Professionals or anybody just out there having fun, when we go for our group flyers or whatever, throw a little something together and share it with the group.
Sure.
And even give us a new location to have a group fly.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. No, that's. I'm just setting something up here, so bear with me.
Yeah, we just figured 60 seconds. That way we just got a little clip there. We're not, running on overtime or anything. Just something a little short, sweet, some color, some movement. Like Lauren said, throw a caption or two in there and maybe tag your name on it. All good.
Sure. And everybody's got to supply their own popcorn because I'm not doing that. Sorry.
Oh, for Pete's sake. That's it. I'm out.
Bring the pretzels, Lonnie.
I didn't know. I had a sundae tonight, actually. No pretzels today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, second thing we were going to talk about tonight was we were going to talk about, okay, I've crashed. Now what? I don't think I know of anybody that can honestly say that they haven't crashed. Can anybody say that they haven't crashed?
Nope.
You will crash. If you fly enough, you will crash. There's no sort of well, probably I won't, but everybody's going to crash at one time or another. So
It's a matter of time.
the big thing is if you're not crashing, you're not flying. And as long as you're not doing it on a regular basis, unless, of course, you're an FPV flyer, because those guys crash all the time and they just kind of, well, that's part of doing business.
Yeah.
But where the heck did it go? I lost my notes here.
So you got a crash story to share, Doug?
I sure do. I was in Chestermere down at the boat dock. The park out front had all their Christmas lights out, all the Christmas decorations. It's a good location. It was nice and dark, so the Christmas lights were really bright, reflecting off the white snow. And I thought, well, I'm going to get a good night vision video of this flying tonight. And in the middle of the park, there is a gazebo. The gazebo is 3 stories high, or 3 levels high, and they put Christmas lights on 2 levels of the gazebo. So
I already see where this is going.
I take off.
I actually know this story.
I take off, and I have my daughter with me, and she's like, be careful of the gazebo. And I said, I can see it. It's well lit. So I'm flying 15 feet above, kind of getting in cinematic mode, getting lots of nice shots of the lights and all the Christmas decorations. And I'm thinking, boy, I've got perfect video here. Like the color, everything was working perfect that night. And as I get closer and closer to the gazebo, thinking, I'm going to get right up to it and go right around it, thinking I'm going to fly over the 2 levels that I can see, not realizing there's a 3rd level. And all I hear is the most horrific noise in the world of some props hitting the aluminum roof or the siding on this gazebo. And then the clunk level 1, clunk level 2, clunk level 3, and then the smash onto the concrete. So as it's already crashing, my daughter and I are running towards the gazebo thinking like, I thought it was actually stuck up on the roof until I did hear it hit the cement. And I go to pick it up and, oh, my heart sank. There was pieces of props. There was pieces of the frame. There was pieces everywhere. So I lick my wounds, collect my drone, bring it back home and give it the old inspection and pull the battery out of it. And the battery still was in good shape. It didn't swell, nothing broke inside the battery. But let's just say SkyMount had a good month with me after having my drone go in after my little incident. And I did have a video. I think Lauren may still have it. I'm not sure, but it was a rough day.
Actually, I could do you one better. I'm going to actually post video of one of my crashes because I'm quite fortunate because I think I've only crashed twice. But I'm going to share this one with you guys. And it's kind of funny because my plan was I was going to fly up the road here, and you see the trees there. The thing being is once I got up to the trees, the idea was to gain altitude and then circle around to the left over those trees. But the problem was I had the sun behind me on my iPad, and I really couldn't see it. So I was going on depth perception. I thought I was clear. Guess what? I wasn't. That was the same day that I went out and bought a crystal sky. So, but yeah. So, yeah. Everybody has crashes.
Mine was not this February that passed, but the one prior. I was invited along to a skiing outing with the company up at Fortress Mountain. And I don't ski, so I asked them if they were okay if I were to bring my drone along. And they're like, absolutely, no problem. So anyway, it was all good. And, the morning was great. Sunny, was getting some great stuff going on. Just before lunch, it started to cloud over. It was starting to dip in temperature a little bit. So the boys were up top getting ready to come down this one run, and they'd left me at the bottom. So I was setting up the drone to catch them coming down the hill. And as they were coming down, I was just going to back it up, right, and just follow them through. So while they were setting up, I done a couple of test runs, and just before they started coming down the hill, my iPad was cold enough out. My iPad actually shut down. So like, for Pete's sake. So the drone was still hanging in the air. I had the GPS. Everything was good. Opened up my phone, swapped out the iPad, got running on my phone, no problem. So we're still set. Everything's still where it was. They started coming down the hill, and I'm watching the monitor, and I'm backing up as these guys are coming down. It was great. And all of a sudden, I seen white. I had no idea what happened. Not a clue. So anyway, I'm scrambling because the February we went, they had 5 feet of powder. So picture a Phantom 4 going down in 5 feet of powder. Well, white on white, not going to be so good. But fortunately, I started walking to roughly where I figured it landed. I'd gone into my app, did a find my drone search in there. So I started walking towards where it was. And of course, I was getting off the path, and I was up to my waist in snow. And one of the guys came and said, whereabouts you looking? So I kind of explained it to her. And so she's skiing around these couple of trees. I think there was 3 or 4 trees there. And then at that time, there was in Find My Drone, you could set it to beep. And she said, I think I hear something. And then, oh, wait, I found a hole. And she reached into the snow and pulled it out. So I was pretty lucky because that could have been there till spring.
It went in soft.
Yeah, so I did watch the video, and I'll be damned, I must have clipped like the top 4 inches of one branch of the tree. Like, yeah, and actually that was it. I lost one prop.
So anyway, I'm going to put up some, I'm going to talk about some tips. I want you guys to jump in if you think I missed anything after it. But
okay.
First thing to do if you crash, breathe, relax. Don't. Chances are your adrenaline's running, and I've been seeing reports of people were actually got themselves in trouble physically because the adrenaline got going so much that they did something stupid like jumping into a river to try and chase down their drone. First thing, just breathe, relax, get your senses about you, and be aware of what's going on, and just don't freak. Take your time, relax. Next thing, if possible, again, if it's in the bottom of the lake, it's not going to be too easy. But next thing, try and recover your drone. If it's on land, use your Find My Drone feature. A lot of people forget about that and they go searching for it. But you're only going to have a limited amount of battery time in order to use that function. So as soon as you've got your wits about yourself, get on that, start using that Find My Drone feature. Once you recover it, make sure the first thing you do is turn off the battery. It's also been things where people all of a sudden get swatted by their own blades because they forgot to power down their drone. So first thing, turn off the battery. Once you get back to your takeoff location or whatever, inspect the drone. Because some guys will just, I just broke a blade, and then but inspect your drone very carefully and make sure there's no cracks or anything like that. Make sure your gimbal is still intact. If it had a fairly good crash, I don't recommend flying for that day because there's other things you should do before you fly again. And then after your careful inspection, is this just blades, or is this something I should have the professionals look at? So you can end up giving yourself a world of grief if you decide that you're going to do repairs and you get in over your head. There's some good repair shops in town, either Sky Mount or Multi-Rotor Heli. Both of them are certified DJI repair shops. Don't take it to Best Buy because they're going to go, They sell them, they don't fix them, right? So try those are the two only certified repair centers in town. So check those guys out if you need to, and before you decide to go in there, evaluate it, make sure everything's kind of tickety-boo on it. Once you get your drone back or you do your own repairs, don't even think about flying it unless you do all, and I mean literally all, your calibrations. Because if the drone has had a hard hit, most likely it has affected the IMU, which is going to totally mess up your flight if that is not calibrated properly. Chances are you'll get a warning, but you may not. So do your IMU calibration, your camera calibration, as well as your compass calibration. Redo all of those before you do your first flight after a crash. So important. And then finally, take it slow. Rebuild your confidence in both yourself and your drone. Again, don't take your time, build it up, but don't shy away from it. And probably one of the key things, don't be afraid to share your incident. If you're kind of at a loss of why it happened, share it to the group. And we highly recommend using air data. You can upload your data. If you don't know why you crashed, then you can upload your data to air data and share it with the group. And chances are we can tell you exactly what happened, whether it was the drone's fault, whether it was your fault. And hey, if it's your fault, it's called a learning experience. Michael, how you doing? but anyways, yeah, it's a learning experience, and like I say, everybody's going to crash at some point in their life, and don't worry about it. But let's use the collective of the group to try and help you out, make you better. Anything you'd like to add, gentlemen?
No, I think you covered all the bases, and like you say, once you're back up and running again, maybe for the first flight, just keep it close to you, and make sure that it's not doing anything weird, right?
Yep. Go to an open field and just do some up downs, do some small circles of figure eight, and get your confidence back. Make sure the drone is still flying straight and level, and you've got full control.
Yep. So, unfortunately, Michael, you picked a bad time to come, because we normally only do about a half-hour show. So we're actually running a little bit over our time, not by much, but we usually only do a half-hour show, and but hey, thanks for dropping by. And
any questions? Anybody?
Well, who? What?
Any questions?
Oh, not really.
If somebody does crash and they're not feeling confident, I would
repairs. That's kind of the other thing about if you do your own repairs, because a lot of people don't realize that if you have a crash, it should be reported to Transport Canada, and B, any repairs that are done have to be documented as well. And that's kind of why you're better off, because in there you have to include the repairs, the parts that were done, and who performed those repairs, right? So whether or not that sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell went on here. But to be all fully legal and stuff, those are some things that people forget about. So keep that in mind. But share your stuff on flight data, and then you can share it to the group. And chances are we can figure out what's gone wrong, and make it a learning experience for you. Nobody's there going to make fun of you or think any worse of you for doing it, because it's like I say, everybody crashes sooner or later. If you haven't crashed, you haven't flown enough.
Yeah.
Well, and you learn from that and allow other people to learn from your experiences as well, good and bad.
Yep, exactly.
If you're not feeling confident flying, I'm sure if you asked any of us or anybody from the group, they'd be more than happy to go with you and just give you a little guidance and little moral support, and off you'd go again.
Yep. Anyway,
one more thing.
Yep.
Are we all done with that?
Who?
Are we all done with all that? I was going to throw one more thing.
Absolutely.
Couple of us so far, myself and Sheldon and Pat Chuck, we're going to go out flying at McLean Creek, or if anybody's interested.
Saturday.
Or sorry, not tomorrow, Saturday. We're going to try and head out there somewhere between 8:30 and 9, a little bit earlier than normal, but temperature and everything, weather looks good so far. So
the usual McLean Creek spot, I take it?
What's that?
The usual McLean Creek spot?
Yep. I'll post it in the group tomorrow.
Okay.
Has anybody been out there lately?
Not for about two weeks. I think was the last time I was out there.
Yeah.
How's that creek beside the that flows into the river?
Last time I seen it was pretty low. It's
Okay.
it's clean and low now, Lonnie.
Is it clean? Yeah. Last time I was out, it's pretty high and dirty, but
Yeah.
I flew down there. That's a nice fly in there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic, that area.
It is. Yep.
That might make a good first 60-second video, Lonnie.
There you go.
It's right here.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good
All
night,
right.
everybody. Have a pleasant evening, and we'll see you next time. So in the meantime, and in between time,
Thanks for joining.
See you guys.